Hello, and thank you for joining our live webinar today, everybody. Our focus topic will cover Intel's Optane memory and how it works with Seagate's BarraCuda hard drives. We're very happy to welcome members of Seagate Insider as well as members of Intel's Technology Provider Program for partners at today's event. We hope you find the content really valuable, and as always, we try to exceed your expectations. I'd like to take a few moments to introduce the team here. Our main speakers will be Sharmistha, Mallik, Seagate's Product Marketing Manager for the BarraCuda product. And from Intel, we welcome Alan Winscott, Channel Marketing Manager. And Alan also has a few of his technical wizards on the line in the background as well to help us field some of your questions. And we'd love to have you send those in via chat, which we'll get to in just a minute. My name is Joshua Walty. I'm Seagate's Global Partner Evangelist, and I'll be your host for today's session. So just a few reminders before we kick off things from a product perspective. To preserve the sound quality for all you folks on the line, you are on mute, but we do want to hear from you. So if you have any issues with WebEx, you can send us via the chat box messages for assistance. We'll also be answering questions throughout the presentation via that chat box as well. So please submit yours to the team. Using that chat box, some folks like to use the Q&A box as well. We don't care which one you use, but we'd love to see your questions either way. Also a reminder that after the webinar, we'll be pulling the name of the lucky winner who will receive a total storage solution that includes a Seagate BarraCuda drive and an Intel Optane memory product. Just a reminder, to be eligible for that drawing, we'll only be selecting the names of those folks who attend the full session. So you do have to stay to play. Just a reminder, the Seagate Insider members will earn 100 points for attendance in today's live session, and of course, Intel ITP members will get 5 credits as well. So we're going to reward you no matter where you came from. And finally, all attendees of today's session will receive a copy of the presentation and a link to a survey that lets us know how we're doing, what you'd like to see in future sessions, so on and so forth. So we'd like to throw these as much as we can and give you the inside scoop to what's going on with Seagate as well as our partners that are out there. So now I would say on with the show. I think our first presenter is Alan. So Alan, let me go ahead and pass you the ball. We will let you be in the driver's seat. So once you receive the steering wheel, go ahead and give me a shout out and let me know you're ready to go.
I'm good to go, Joshua. Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning good morning and good afternoon to everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm here to talk about the Intel Optane memory, and then I will pass it on to Sharmistha to talk about the BarraCuda hard drives. But first, let's talk about what Optane memory is, and why Intel brought it to market, and kind of discuss what this is all about and how it pairs beautifully with Seagate's BarraCuda hard drive. So what's really driving all this is, customers today, especially desktop customers today, they're looking for larger capacity storage. And we're even starting to see that in some of the notebooks too, right? But this product right here is geared towards the desktop customer. And we know that kind of 1 terabyte seems to be the sweet spot now, right? Everybody's looking, need more capacity for video. For some of these customers are also doing some entry-level gaming, so they need larger capacities of storage to be able to do the things they want to do on a daily basis. So they're looking for better performance, security, and as we're talking about here, they need more storage. And that's what's kind of driving and why we decided to bring Intel Optane memory to market. And give you some background on this. This is based on our 3D XPoint media, right? So we did a collaboration with Micron. We developed this product, game-changing, right? It's basically a different way we're bringing and speeding up storage and getting it closer than ever before to the CPU. And so with this product, it's an M.2 connection form factor right now that is what we're bringing to market today. This is our desktop product. We will have the version of this for notebooks later on, so probably look around the first of the year. 2018 that you'll see a similar form factor, but towards mobile, right, for the notebook users. So what we did was take the 3D crosspoint memory media along with our rapid storage technology and put these together to create this solution, this memory module that basically when you plug it into a system that's a 7th gen 200 series motherboard, it enables, you know, the intelligence of understanding that what are you using the most. It helps boot up time and whatever programs you use the most. It speeds your ability to get to those programs, that get it closer to the CPU. And that's how you start seeing this acceleration that we're talking about. And usually you'll see this acceleration not on the initial boot up of the system with the Intel Optane memory in it, but the second time you boot up, that's when you start seeing the benefits of what we're bringing to market along with the Seagate hard drives. So kind of go over, this is kind of the typical PC configuration that you're used to, right? You would have a hard drive, then you would have DRAM, then the CPU, right? So that was the typical platform that you saw that was being delivered in most desktops. And now that we can say, okay, instead, you know, you have the hard drive now, if you add in an Intel Optane memory module along with DRAM, you speed and accelerate that system up. So what we have seen that with this particular setup, you're almost getting an SSD-like performance without the cost of an SSD. So this is kind of the opportunity here. So that we want to talk about is, hey, you know, customers want more capacity, and because of the cost of, say, a 1 terabyte SSD, the cost of that is a lot higher than a 1 terabyte hard drive. But if you add an Intel Optane memory to that solution, you get basically an SSD type performance at a lower cost model. So it gives you opportunity as a reseller to maximize, you know, helping your customer with a lower cost point, and you also will make more money off that opportunity. So for resellers, this is an opportunity to look at it. Hey, I can lower BOM costs, provide a good, you know, basically a good user experience, and, you know, helping my customer, and also giving me a little bit more profit. So based on that, I think this is a great opportunity for customers that need larger capacity storage. And just to give you an idea of what we've seen with the benefits of Optane memory, and this slide basically tells you in mainstream usage what we've seen as far as increase in throughput and experience, right? So 2x experience, 5x experience. Enthusiasts, you can start seeing these benchmarks of what this opportunity can bring to your customer, and it's really targeted at what we call the aspirational gamer, right? Somebody that actually does work on their system, you know, regular business or regular browsing experiences, but they also play some games. This is a good opportunity for that type of customer. This is what you want to target as that type of customer is the general purpose and aspirational gamer. And in the backup, you'll see later on, we have some videos about Intel Optane, how to install it. Just gives you the groundworks of how to do step-by-step to have a good experience for your customers as you install these solutions. And with that, I will pass it on to Seagate to talk about their BarraCuda hard drives.
Thanks, Alan. Joshua here. Let me go ahead and pass the ball to Sharmistha. And Sharmistha, I know, is busy behind the scenes. Lots of questions coming in, which is great. Keep them coming. You can certainly put your questions in the Q&A field or the chat box. It looks like a number of you have found that. So let me go ahead and pass the ball to Sharmistha. Sharmistha, you're in the driver's seat. Let me know when you've got control.
Looks like I do. Thanks, Joshua.
All right, away you go.
So before I move on to the Seagate side of the story, do we want to take a moment to answer any of the questions?
Let me take a quick look. We've got some that are sort of specific for Intel. I know the Intel folks are behind the scenes taking a look at those. There is one that came in from the more kind of the Seagate side. It says, is Optane a far better implementation than the family of hybrid disks with spinning media at the back end and a small SSD buffer in the front end, just kind of bringing the topic of hybrid disks to the forefront to the conversation.
Okay, so since that is a Seagate question, why don't I go through my material and then we'll get to that. All right, so I am Sharmistha Mallik. Hello, everyone. And I'm the Global Product Marketing Manager for BarraCuda hard drives. And today I'm going to talk about how you can build a performance powerhouse system by pairing the Intel Optane memory technology that Alan talked about with the Seagate BarraCuda drives. And when I talk about it being a performance powerhouse, it's not just about the SSD-like performance and responsiveness at a much better value, but also without compromising the capacity. As you all know, the SSDs, there's quite a lot of demand, not enough supply, plus the capacity points are much lower than what you would typically find in a traditional hard disk. The target segments for these are basically anybody who's looking for that next step in performance, right? The mainstream PC users, or it could be the gamers, it could be creative pros, but essentially who have high workloads, but also are cost conscious and are looking for that additional capacity. So when we first about the Intel Optane memory, it was really exciting, but our product teams, our engineering teams really took a close look at that, and we did our own set of testing. And I want to share some of those results with you to kind of prove why we think that this is such an awesome value. So at a very high level, if you were to compare a 2 terabyte hard drive versus a 2 terabyte SSD versus a 2 terabyte BarraCuda drive paired with Intel Optane memory, these are what the performance metrics look like. So the system performance, the storage performance, on par with an SSD. The responsiveness is much improved. But what is the biggest takeaway here is that while HDDs are your most cost-effective option, even pairing that HDD with an Intel Optane memory allows you to get all that performance at a much, much lower price per gigabyte. So the dollar symbols that you see at the bottom are what's the tipping point in terms of the overall value for your customers. So let's take a closer look at what these metrics really mean, like when we say system performance, storage performance. So like I mentioned earlier, a couple of examples for a high performance PC segment would be creative pros running Adobe Creative Cloud or Adobe Creative Suite, and then gamers who are running some of the PC games that run lots of gigabytes these days. So across the board, we ran Photoshop, InDesign, After Effects, Illustrator, the most commonly used Adobe applications, and across the board, the performance was either on par or at times even slightly better than SSDs, according to the PC Mark 8 testing that we did in our own labs. The gaming, it actually performed much better for these two World of Warcraft and Battlefield 3 tests that we ran. Now, bear in mind, like Alan mentioned, this is not the very first run, but how the technology works is in subsequent runs, the Intel Optane memory learns from your usage, and then the performance is correspondingly improved over time. All right, so one question that comes up quite often is what happens when we pair this with, or compare this with an SSD plus HDD combo, which a lot of people have been doing when Intel Optane memory was not launched. So we ran that test as well, and actually the results indicated that pairing an SSD with an HDD is a little worse off than pairing the HDD with an Intel Optane or just using an SSD. And the reason for this is essentially pairing SSD plus HDD is not really giving any intelligence to the system. You are basically running two independent hard drives, and you have to do all the manual transfer of data. There's nothing really that the system is learning and optimizing for. So hence these results versus BarraCuda plus Intel Optane memory actually has that level of intelligence where the system learns and optimizes over future runs. So these are some of the test results, and then based on that, what our key benefits for the end consumer would be are basically three, like we talked about. The amazing performance and responsiveness. It's SSD-like. It improves your productivity with a storage solution that boots and loads a lot faster than you would in a typical case. You also don't have to compromise on capacity. We have up to 10 terabytes with our BarraCuda Pro and up to 4 terabytes with our BarraCuda, which are both available in the 3.5-inch, desktop form factor. And you can run all your projects, be it, Creative Pro, Adobe projects, or games. And then finally, the incredible value. It's not only in terms of just the dollars you spend, but also, the warranty, the access to data recovery services, which is unique with Seagate drives, and then you don't have to ever worry about losing your data or losing performance or compromising in any way. So the other side to this story is basically what does it mean for you, our partners, right? So there are basically, again, three pillars here. One, combining these hard drives with Intel Optane memory is basically offering a new upsell opportunity to your customers who are looking for that step up in performance, are looking to purchase that new system. And it also opens up this to a broader base of audience, basically, who have been cost conscious and just a little hesitant to make that jump into SSD because of pricing or capacity reasons. They are now able to get that, or you are able to offer that solution to them using the Optane memory and BarraCuda drives instead. The team, both on the Intel and Seagate side, have been working with all our key distributors in putting together bundles and promotions and point-of-sale promotions for you guys to go and purchase these bundles with BarraCuda at 1 to 4 terabyte capacity points, and of course the Optane at 16 and 32 gig capacity points. And then, I already mentioned about the promotions and bundles, and we're also working on multiple co-marketing opportunities with different partners across the region that you can also avail of. All right, so those were all my slides, and I think we can open up for questions now. I believe, Joshua, you've seen a few more come through as I was talking.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look at your chat window, Sharmistha. I sent a couple to you, kind of back on the lines of, bringing up the discussion of hybrid drives, and, people are talking about SSDs. Yeah. I think you addressed a little bit of that, but maybe a little bit deeper dive. Also, Sharmistha, you're going to trade shows where a lot of resellers are coming by too, so you've seen these questions come up as well.
Especially the hybrid disk drive comes up quite often, and that's basically our BarraCuda line of drives. And so it is, just to recap, it is a combination. It's a solid-state hybrid drive, so it does have the solid-state buffer in. And in testing just our solid-state drives versus, our solid-state hybrid drives versus SSDs, our performance is, not on par exactly. So basically, if you were just to compare an Intel Optane memory plus Seagate BarraCuda drive versus a BarraCuda drive, you would see better performance in the combo. But if you were to pair a BarraCuda drive with an Intel Optane memory and then a BarraCuda drive with an Intel Optane memory, you would probably see a slightly better performance because BarraCuda drive is already optimized for speed and responsiveness. But bear in mind that the BarraCuda drives are also a little bit more expensive because as a standalone, it's a lot better in terms of performance, like 5x better than traditional hard drive. So it basically comes down to kind of a cost-benefit analysis for the customers and for folks who are putting together these systems. If you were to kind of rank them, you would probably go with, a BarraCuda drive, if that's, or if you're looking for capacity and really not the utmost speed. But then if you were to take a step up, then either an SSD with a compromise on capacity or an HDD or BarraCuda HDD with Optane memory without any compromising on capacity and getting the speed. So I would say that Optane memory plus BarraCuda would outperform a pure BarraCuda drive, and a BarraCuda plus Optane memory would be on par or slightly better than BarraCuda plus Optane memory.
Great.
Looking at the next question here. Okay, so there's something about drive corruption and resistance. So I'll just read the question here. It says drive corruption resistance in laptops versus pure SSD. Bumped or dropped running laptops OS can lead to corrupt drive and boot issues. SSDs don't suffer from this common problem with spinning drives. And that is true, but SSDs has its own set of problems because it's all electric and transistors. They tend to burn out. So it's kind of pros and cons. Of course, this is meant for a desktop solution, so hopefully you're not dropping your PC workstation that often, but it's a fair point. HDDs have different causes of failure versus SSDs, but our BarraCuda drives, like I mentioned, all come with a long warranty. For BarraCuda Pro, it's 5 years, and then you also have access to our rescue data recovery plan. So in case something were to happen, all you need to do, if you do have a drive that's covered with rescue data recovery plan, is send that in. You'll get a replacement drive as part of the regular RMA warranty process, and you'll also be able to just send in your drive for your data to be recovered. That will be sent back to you as well. So you're covered on both ends, not just the hardware, but also your precious data.
Great, and I think kind of dovetailing into the discussion of rescue, recovery for the data, there is a question here I think is more for the Allen Intel team. I think there's a question that came in about on one hand, we have a participant who's intrigued by the doubling of performance that we've talked about, but the question says, however, I viewed Intel's videos on what's required from a platform standpoint and how to integrate Optane, and I think the concern in the question, if I can paraphrase, is that this new level of complexity is causing some concern about time and method of disaster recovery for the PC with the Optane system. So a meaty question, probably has a long answer, but if there's some way, Alan, we can kind of talk a little bit about that. I know on the Intel side, there's lots of tutorials and a lot of education on your side to get folks up to speed on implementation. Is that true?
Yeah, and we provide some of the links, right? So there's a bunch of videos that are out there now talking about how to properly set up Optane memory. So remember, you have to have a 7th gen or higher motherboard with a 200 series chipset, okay? And there's a line of them out there. So all the main manufacturers of motherboards today are making Optane-ready motherboards. So when you load the Optane memory in there, you just have to follow the instructions properly. And the videos show step-by-step instructions, what you should see, how you should set up, and what you should look for to know that your system is Optane-ready. And one of the things is that Optane memory becomes part of your hard drive. So it's not like a separate drive. It actually it becomes part of your hard drive. So if you follow the instructions, that's why we have a bunch of these tutorials out there today to help you. And you can go to our intel.com/Optane memory, and it'll take you there, and it has all the videos. It has all the messaging, all the content that you need to properly install Optane memory.
Yeah, that's a good call, Alan. Definitely will remind people in today's session that not only will they get a copy of the slides today and a link to the recording, but we will also include some of those deep links that'll take folks directly to that educational material. I know you guys sent that ahead of time, so we'll make sure that gets into the right hand. I think Also, since we do have you, Alan, engaged here, a question came in about, is the system going to work as an operating system independent platform, or will Windows be required to take advantage of the performance improvement?
Well, this is only optimized for Windows 10, right? So it does look like I said, it becomes part of your hard drive. All right, so it's not like you can petition it any other way. It actually becomes your hard drive, part of your hard drive, right? So, it is a system accelerator. It optimizes most frequently used files, right? And that's what it does. It takes it, moves it closer to the CPU. So now you see this what we call an acceleration in accessing those files. And the boot time, like I said, increases, but it's not like it's separate from your hard drive. It looks as part of your hard drive.
Great, great. Well, I know we're heading towards the bottom of the hour. One other question. This is the kind of question you always like to hear in a session like this, Alan. And we've got someone who wants to know: is the Optane memory available in distribution right now? Exclamation point.
Yes, we have healthy supply in the channel. We have in both flavors, 16 gigabit and 32 gigabit. And to talk about, what should determine what you should use, it depends on, number of applications that you need to accelerate it, right? So the 32 gig module is, ideal for power users who often use a variety of data-intensive applications, such as prosumers and gamers. So you'll see some of the gaming audience move more to the 32 GB option, and those are in the $75, $80 window to purchase through distribution. And then if you have the 16 GB, which is more in that $45 to $50 range. So that's why we're, when we say the opportunity for your resellers out there to, offer another option to customers that need large capacity, but that would like better performance. This is a great option.
That's great. Well, and like I said, we wanted to make sure people knew that this was in the wild, and from an educational standpoint, this live webinar is one of several that will be running. There's lots of education to come from both Seagate and Intel themselves. I wanted to jump in here and do a quick plug for Seagate Insider, which is our program that we've designed for channel partners. And we have folks that are on the line, no doubt, who are in the program. But for those who are curious, this is a tiered membership program where, once you've signed up, we'll go ahead and evaluate the status and standing of the company. You get assigned an actual tier, and each of those tiers aligns back to a series of benefits. So I won't go into all of those here today, but being able to get points for your purchases, accessing resources on a portal, priority, sales and support, all great stuff, as well as you would expect Seagate to keep you in the know on news, events, and other networking activities that are coming up. Like I said, the points for purchases is something we want to reward our channel partners for doing what they normally do every day, and then also give them, a catalog of options depending on their tier structure of items that they can redeem. We talked a little bit about membership aligning with the tiers. That's all explained on the Seagate site as well. And here again, the resource portal, I can't stress strong enough that, we do have a full complement of everything that you would need across all the different products, not just BarraCuda, but if you're interested in other client solutions from Seagate, we have those as well, going all the way up the stack to the full enterprise solutions as well. The news and events are coming. They're all regional, so definitely join and take a look at the coming events in your area. We do have a monthly newsletter that'll keep you in the know of those as well. And like we always say in these sessions, the real purpose of having a program for partners in the channel is to help grow your business and let Seagate help you with the hard stuff, the marketing and some of the tech support stuff. So enroll today. You'll be able to choose your membership. We'll send you an email to acknowledge that. and then you'll find all the listings for all the products and all the assets that are in there. So that's a little bit from me. If you want to sign up today, there is the URL directly on the screen. And for those who want to get a little bit more about that program as it exists here in North America, Doug Abraham is your guy, and there's his contact information. Once again, all the members of the folks on this call today will be getting this deck, so you'll have this information in your hands as well as a link to the recording. And once again, my name is Joshua Walty, and for everybody here at Seagate, I want to thank you for joining today's session. I want to thank Alan and the whole Intel team. You guys are awesome. We're definitely looking forward to more sessions in the future that talk about Optane and also allowing to cross-pollinate with resources, because we know if we had a lot of questions in today's session, we know there's a lot more coming as people get up to speed on this topic. So before we shut things down, Alan, Sharmistha, any final parting words you'd like to give the folks on today's call?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, this is a great opportunity to everybody here to look at other options to improve your customer's experience, and especially the cost-conscious ones that haven't had SSDs in their systems in the past. This gives them opportunity to see what SSD-like performance is like at a lower low-cost model. So I think this is a good opportunity for resellers to, like I said, give a good user experience to their customers, as well as staying profitable as a reseller.
Yeah, and I would just echo what Alan said, and if there was like one takeaway from today's session, it would be that with Seagate BarraCuda drives and Intel Optane memory paired together, you get SSD performance and HDD capacity at HDD pricing. And thank you all so much for attending.
Excellent. Sharmistha, thank you so much. Alan, thank you as well. And my name is Joshua Walty here for Seagate, folks. We'll see you during the next session. And please take a look at the Inside program, and we'd love to have you come and join our group. All right, thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.